gonna not take that away. So let's see what Hammers is gonna take away. They'll probably take away a key jungler that they don't want to deal with, like Cruel potentially. Maybe they don't want a last pick Cruel on a Cloud9 side, or even Koshka potentially. So let's see what they decide.
Yeah, I feel like it could be a strategy to let a Baron on through from Hammers because, you know, Idris is available. They've got Grace as well. So an Idris-Grace kind of composition could look incredibly strong for them. They're going to ban away the Cruel in the end.
Yeah. Now Idris or Baron is up. So I think Cloud9 will probably go for Idris since Old School does not play Baron or is not as comfortable or confident on it, I believe. So I think Idris will probably be picked here and they'll last pick a key jungler, potentially like a Taka or Koshka into the Baron here. Right. Hammers might do Baron Koshka, and then Cloud9 would have to then pick potentially Sky.
Baron would be so risky though with the Idris and Lyra already on the other side.
Yeah, but you have Grace though. Don't forget to echo on Grace.
But
he'll stay alive.
I think it's still really risky. The Idris is a very, very strong pick into Baron. But
they could Glaive. Actually, Hammers, and if they don't want to risk it, they can play Glaive here. Because Glaive with Grace will be able to match against the Idris Lyra combo. And that will be a good and smart. And they'll do like Glaive Samuel potentially here. That could be a composition that they could run because Archaic does play a better Samuel.
Or if we're talking full comfort picks, we could see a Ringo. But I mean, you never know when Starting All Over is going to pull that Ringo out at this point. But they are going to go ahead, lock in that Glaive.
Yeah, so now Baptiste or Samuel, what do you think?
I think the
Koshka. They're not going to give Joseph Koshka. So they're going to give Baptiste over to Cloud9, which is a pretty good comp into Glaive and Koshka. So is Joseph going to play this Baptiste or a CP Blackfeather?
We could even potentially see, because even though there's a lot of they're very fast, it is still triple melee. We could see another Rhyme.
That's true. You're right. Wow. Or if a Rhyme comes out, that's going to be a really tough order for Hammers. With Koshka, Grace can give Rhyme a hard time early game because she's so fast. She can just steal the farm before Rhyme can get his items online and be able to farm faster. So that would be a very good pick for sure, Rhyme into that. Or they can even do Weapon Grumpjaw on a CP Idris and just basically get CP to get Idris to a Shatterglass. And it would work really well because they're all melee. CP Idris, his Chakram would hit both of them. So Cloud9 have a lot of options right now. But I think Rhyme might be the pick because Joseph played it so well.
Yeah, we already saw him play it once today, and it absolutely dominated that game. We'll see if that's something that Cloud9 are willing to go for. Rona!
So it's a CP Idris Rona. Rona completely counters the melee here, completely.
Could also be a CP Rona. We have seen that in we have seen it in Vainglory 8. We have seen it win in the Vainglory 8.
CP Rona?
Yes.
Really? Oh, I don't remember. Okay.
It was in Europe.
Wow. Okay, that's EU though. No, I'm just kidding. All
right, well,
I'm just kidding.
I mean, explain for any of the viewers at home that won't have seen a Rona, or especially a CP Rona in competitive play, what is this going to fulfill within these team fights? How are they going to bring this Rona to light?
So whether it's weapon or crystal, it's all about the fact that it's triple melee. They're going to be clumped up. The red mist is just going to do so much work. The CP variant is the Into the Fray, does a massive amount of burst. When you go ahead and jump on in, if everyone's clumped up, it has a 200% ratio on the second burst of damage for the crystal power. It is a massive chunk of damage.
All right, so then what is the strategy to shut that down? How do you deny this Rona from just taking over the game?
She's so weak early. Kosh can just run over in jungle. She doesn't have any items. She doesn't have that much damage until she gets a Shatter Glass. And she farms really slow. So I doubt it's a CP Rona, but if they can make it work, they can make it work. Who knows?
We'll have to see if it will be the CP Rona. I've got to say, it's probably going to be the weapon power in my eyes, but we'll have to wait and see as we get on into this game.
Well, that's the difference.
I want a new bike for Christmas, but we'll see whether that's going to happen as well. It's time to get on into this game. Cloud9 up against Hammers. Let us know who you're voting for on Twitter using the hashtag Vainglory8. And it's time to jump on into our Grand Finals game number 2. Let's see if C9 can take this in a convincing 2-0 or whether the Hollywood Hammers can push it to game 3.
Thanks, guys. Now, I don't know about that new bike munch, but I got something that's better. And it might be a game 3 coming up after this if Hammers can take the game up for Cloud9. Is it going to be this CP Rona? I'm not sure. He's picked up the weapon blade.
Did you just say that a game 3 would be better than a new bike?
I don't know. It depends how good the bike is, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, if I got offered a road bike in exchange for a game 3 or no game 3 from this game, I'd probably take the road bike, you know.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll hold you to that one.
Looks like Hammers are going to get collapsed on really quickly here by C9. Great rotation by Old School.
Old School taking a fair bit of damage though, starting all over. Just packing a mean punch. Same with Playboy Afro. Base damage on Gwen. Not Gwen.
Gwen?
Yeah, I was hanging a minute, not Gwen.
Grace?
Grace is pretty high. The Benediction doing a lot of work, and AoE as well. That'll be the healing camp going over to the likes of Cloud9, so they'll be happy with that one at least for now.
Absolutely starting, waiting to see if an early rotation from Old School comes up from the jungle, but they aren't going to catch him out. And now Playboy and Starting are going to look to push the lane as quickly as possible, but Gabe Fizzle and Old School get back into lane quite nicely and quickly. But Archaic has been given a free pass in this jungle early on, and it's I Love Joseph that's put a little bit behind because of that early aggressive invade from Hammers. And they don't really get punished for it either, as Archaic makes another move to the forward healing Treant.
Does indeed. Did step on a scout trap, by the way, so took a little bit of damage from that one. Playboy Afro is going to be here to back Archaic up, but so would Gabe Fizzle. Heal doing a fair bit of work, and Joseph actually just burst out here. He might just go down to first blood. Tries to into the fray over the wall, but it doesn't happen. Playboy Afro picks up the first blood. Gabe Fizzle trying to get the last bit of poke damage. The sigil damage, not quite enough. Take out Playboy Afro. Too tanky on this Grace. Does end up recalling instead. So first blood over to Archaic.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is the aggressive, nice queuing of his basic attack as well. What you could do, they're going to collapse on Koshka potentially.
Well, healing camp does go over to Joseph. That's actually a really nice reward for him. Old School's actually going to collapse on here as well. Again, a nice little rotation from him. Starting all over is going to go down, and that's going to go over to Joseph as well. Gets off the little recall, but hey-ho, you're never going to get back to base in that state. Cloud9 pick up themselves a return kill.
Oh, whoa, Joseph.
Oh,
Joseph.
Oh, into the fray. He's good. He's good.
One of the things that you can do on Koshka, when she uses her Twirly Death, she gets an empowered basic attack for 10 seconds. That 10 seconds is longer than the actual cooldown of Twirly Death. So what you can do, as C9 are getting battered about by Archaic on this Koshka as well, is you can Twirly Death, queue up 2 basic attacks, wait a little bit, land 2 basic attacks, Twirly Death again, and get another 2 basic attacks and the Twirly Death damage onto your target. So basically 4 basic attacks in a row that are empowered, which means you're a very, very strong early duelist.
Extremely strong. Well, that's what Koshka's known for, eh? Tell you what Joseph is known for, his Koshka and Taka, and I'm pretty sure he's going to show Archaic how to play it later on. Joseph, although fairly low, is undeterred, it seems, actually just wandering towards Archaic's jungle now, although he has got 2 members behind him. This is actually a really bad spot for him, it seems. Starting all over is rotating as well.
Yeah, Joseph might be caught out here. Looks like he's going to try and take the healing camp. There's a 2-level advantage for Archaic. I don't know if Archaic knows that he's there, but he sure as hell does now.
Well, level 3 on Joseph, level 4 on Archaic. Archaic is way more healthy, but into the fray over the wall will just lead Joseph to safety. Meanwhile, we did have Playboy Afro actually securing 2 of the backs off of Cloud9. So at least getting a little something for his troubles.
Looks like he's going to try and stop Playboy Afro, who does get the forward healing Treant, and Joseph has been starved of so much farm in this early game. 19 CS to 7 for Joseph. That is a pretty catastrophic disadvantage for a jungler, as he has kind of been pushed out of the jungle so heavily. Old School's been doing a good job here, but is only equal.
Well, a little engagement does happen. Starting all over is going fairly low, but Joseph is actually in the fray of it all. Archaic almost goes down to the empowered auto attack of Gabe Fizzle, but doesn't end up falling. Once again, Cloud9, they're fighting these fights, but can't really seem to make anything stick at the moment. Starting almost going down, Archaic the same.
Well, let's be honest.
They get lane priority though.
Given the jungle disadvantage here for C9, the fact that they aren't losing these fights is probably good enough as it stands. Those chakrams, as I'm sure our resident one-trick Idris will tell you, on a CP Idris, hit like really hard. Like if you can get both hits of the boomerang on the chakram, they chunk squishy targets, especially Archaic in the early games. So you always have to respect the damage that a chakram can output. And speaking of interesting build paths, Archaic's gone mega heavy in terms of investing for his items later on. They're already built the 2 crystal bits that will eventually go into a broken myth, which means the slot efficiency for him right now is moderately low because he can only invest in 1 item that isn't part of this offensive item set, which does make him fairly squishy right now.
That it does. Speaking of squish, starting all over when he gets hit by those chakrams like you were saying. That will be at least a tier 3 finished item here for Archaic. He's level 6 as well, so as that Yummy Cannon Frenzy, that Aftershock will be packing a punch as well. Cloud9, they do get the recalls off, or at least Joseph does. He's going to be level 6 shortly as well, but like you said, as he's been so starved for farm, he's actually almost an entire level behind Archaic here. One thing, interaction actually I didn't think about really in this matchup is actually the Mortal Wounds that Joseph can apply will stop a lot of the healing coming out from Playboy Afro later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like you said, there's already a Mortal Wounds built into I Love Joseph's kit, so you don't necessarily need to have something like a Poison Shiv on board, although a lot of Ronas do actually end up building Poison Shiv regardless. Old School's going to scale up really nicely as well, and I feel like this is a game for C9 where, whoa, that was an interesting target to choose for your Yummy Catnip Frenzy. It doesn't quite work out, as the reflex block was already built for the eventual Crucible.
Oh, nice redirection on Old School there. Doesn't end up going down. That fountain was all too good. Joseph comes in with it into the fray. Hammers are just going to be able to get out of there quite sharpish though, popping boots all around it seemed. Now Cloud9 going very low, but Old School seemed to be more than okay in surviving that initial lot of burst. He has got his Shatter Glass online now as well, actually.
Used both his reflex block and his ultimate there. Ultimate obviously makes Idris both untargetable and invulnerable. And obviously, but ooh, wait a second.
Starting all over? No, hang on a second. No, you're not allowed to talk today, Scoundrel. That's the rule, I think, in this game. Yes.
It has been the case, hasn't it? It has been the case.
They want to make a kill. They want to find something, but still can't let anything land.
They really do. They are so desperate to find an Afterburn player. Starting all over 1 second.
They're going to go in again. Yeah, there we go. I was about to say, Gabe Fizzle this time gets jumped on. Who will go down first? In fact, it's starting all over. That goes down to a Chakram. Oh dear, Playboy Afro caught out of position as well. Gabe Fizzle takes the kill, and Cloud9 respond to that one perfectly.
And they've got incredible turret taking potential here. With the Chakram, CP Idris so quick at doing this kind of thing. Archaic will get tagged here. But the Fortified Health from the Rona ultimate might be enough to allow C9 to get this for free. Yes, it will. Fountain comes out for safety. But a turret for a Fountain, you would probably trade that any day of the week.
More than worth. Okay, going fairly low. Starting all over does come into the fight. Does enter and exit in the same frame window. Now Joseph is going to be fairly low, so he does end up having to back off here. But building up quite nicely here. He has been starved for farm, yes, but at least he's got a kill on his side. Uh-oh. He's good. Oh, okay. All right. No, he's more than okay. Actually just killed Archaic with a Chakram. All right, cool. Fair enough. Didn't expect that damage, did you? Archaic, so he ends up falling there, and Cloud9 once again find another kill.
It's interesting. There are two build paths for CP Idris that can achieve the divergent paths as quickly as possible. Shatterglass does it straight away, but there is a Frostburn build which I think maybe could have been potentially better in this scenario. Now I know that the Shatterglass is great for the burst damage, right? You get the burst damage onto Koshka, that's a fantastic thing. Koshka hasn't itemized any shielding, so it's going to work out fantastically. But against the triple melee composition, I would have felt maybe that Frostburn might have been a better call, just because how effective Frostburn is at kiting into a triple melee composition. And Frostburn, you can achieve the same thing. Whoa, Nelly.
Oh, damage is completely averted once again from Cloud9. However, okay, does have Yummy Cannon Frenzy. They are going to be able to take this turret. Those Chakrams really hard hitting now with that alternating current. Old School still chasing. Got to be careful though, starting all over. Maybe looking for something here. Playboy Afro is going to give him the heal. Old School goes low in the back line, but still surviving. Red Mist comes through from Joseph as well. Yummy Cannon Frenzy on top of him. Now he is going to get caught up, stunned up, and killed. Playboy Afro does end up knocking him up with the Holy Nova. Now, Hollywood Hammer's actually picking up 2 kills of their own. Oh, Gabe Fizzle, this might be a third. This might actually just be an ace. Archaic jumping between 2 turret shots. He's going to go down eventually, but the ace does end up coming through.
And they might be able to get another turret off from it, because starting all over is working very quickly so that the infusion comes out, but this will be 2 turrets for Hollywood Hammers. And again, C9 a little bit over-aggressive. Joseph way too late to the party there. And C9 give up another mid-game team fight. Something they've been making some uncharacteristic errors, you know, compared to how we usually see C9 play. So, you know, they want to scale up now. They want to get to the late game. I definitely feel like Frostburn would have been a good shout for them. Old School's going to pick up another Blazing Salvo. No, he sells that. That was a mistake.
Whoops. Rip a little bit of gold. Gold value not on point there. Broken Myth now finished for Archaic, by the way. So that's going to be pretty big for him in these extended engagements. Speaking of extended engagements, this is what one might not be as extended. Okay, Fizzle does go fairly low, but Old School on the sidelines just completely free hitting, but Divine Intervention is going to heal him up. That's going to be a nice block on the Yummy Catnip Frenzy for Old School, but Archaic still not done with him in the back line. Does end up trading 1-for-1, but Red Mist just decimates the rest of Hollywood Hammers. Archaic just wonders what happens to his team. Okay, Fizzle, she protects, but she also attack. She does end up finishing off the little kitty cat, and that will be Archaic falling and an ace going to Cloud9.
Solid meme into there, Jaws. I've got to say that was a nice transition. Yeah, that is one of the issues against Arona. If you spend your time dealing with a backline carry, Grace remains stationary, starting all over, stuck on the backline too, and you ignore Arona, she will kill you. If you ignore Arona and she just gets the red mist forever, she will literally just kill you straight up. And Old School spent so much time kiting there. He bought so much time for Joseph to build up on the backline. Double sustain build from Joseph, by the way, the Serpent's Mask and the Poison Shiv. It was essentially almost untouched. Joseph going to be very hard to take down here. That team fight was an illustration of why I felt the Frostburn build might have been better here, Jaws, just simply because you saw how much Joseph was kiting. That would have been 10 times easier with a Frostburn. It might have even allowed him to sort of save his life, and it would have been potentially even easier for C9 to win that fight. But nevertheless, C9 are winning, so you can't really complain.
Absolutely not. But the gold isn't even in their favor at this point, just because the turrets. However, wow, that's a big item for starting all over. Actually picking up that tension bow. So he has got Sorrowbane tension bow and the poison shiv on board now. Goldminer hasn't really had too much attention paid towards it. Now Cloud9, they are more playing on the defensive. You could say that, you know, Hollywood Hammers, they aren't winning these fights through and through, but Cloud9, they still have to play a little bit further back than they may have want to, just because the turret situation. In fact, starting all over, creeping in this brush. Archaic's going to be here as well. Joseph has no idea, neither does Gabe Bizzle. Sigil comes out on the tri-bush to try and get a little bit of vision down. Starting all over, just dash over the wall though. Bright Bulwark's going to be pretty big. Old School on the back line though is going to get dealt with by Archaic. Let's get a little bit of distance. So Joseph over the wall, using that into the fray perfectly there. He's going to back of the rest of his team. Okay, does find one kill, and starting all over will find the next as well. And that will be Gabe Bizzle going back to base, just recalling. And that, what a perfect position there for Hollywood Hammers to be in.
Yeah, starting to engage the fight so well. I think Joseph was looking for an opportunity to dive over the wall with his ultimate to get back to his team, but the fact that he was separated meant that Gabe Bizzle had to pop the ultimate in a sort of an awkward scenario, meaning that Joseph was kind of just stuck on the other side of the line with Archaic having built up so many breaking point stacks. Joseph needs breaking point, by the way, to come online. Sorry, no, Old School needs breaking point to come online. I meant that Old School was separated, not Joseph. I don't know what I was talking about. But once you get breaking point on a CP Idris, a lot more it's sort of easier to stack that damage up more effectively. But until he gets that, he will be lacking compared to what Archaic is putting out right now. And they have gone for the Atlas Pauldrons, which may strike you as odd because it's not that good into Rona, but it is very good into CP Idris because he's an alternating current-based CP carry, which is an attack speed-based item. So it's always very good to lock down the attack speed of an alternating current-based carry, and that's why Atlas Pauldrons can still remain viable versus them.
Yeah, it's going to cut his DPS. Very, very much so in these fights. If he can land it, obviously. However, you wouldn't put it past him whatsoever, considering his positioning in these fights has been very aggressive. Now, Hollywood Hammers, they still have that at least a turret lead here. And they still have a goldie at 2,000. It's just whether Archaic can actually make these plays into the back line again, because that fight seemed to only go well for them because Old School was completely segregated and Joseph did have to fight that 2v2. 1v1, Archaic is going to win out of Old School, you can imagine, time and time again. Old School actually getting jumped on once more, but that Red Mist just chewing them up. Playboy Afro comes up big with the heal. Here comes the only Catnip Frenzy straight onto Old School. Is actually taking him down. Red Mist, and that regeneration is not going to be enough from the Servant's Mask and the Poison Shiv. Passageway for Gabe Bizzle to get him back to base. Archaic almost falls to the base damage, but Hollywood Hammers coming up really big now.
Yep, so the double, you can see there, Playboy Afro is just going to escape. The double heal coming out from the Grace is so good at keeping these frontline carries alive that want to dive in onto the likes of Old School on this Idris. And that's why Grace has been so popular as well in dive compositions, because you're just able to reduce so much damage and they can act so easily as a frontline despite not having a huge amount of defensive stats to their name. starting all over as Poison Shiv kind of really shuts down the Serpent's Mass Poison Shiv build from Joseph. I might have, to be honest, I would have really preferred to see some different builds come out here from C9. I would have liked to have seen the Frostburn-based Idris build. I would have liked to have seen a Poison Shiv or Serpent's Mask into Breaking Point build from Joseph. Again, there isn't any way right now for C9 to get more powerful as the fights go on. So there isn't that break of myth, which has now just been finished for Old School. It might be influential, but one of the Rona's greatest strengths is that her red mist stacks breaking points so quickly. So not having breaking point kind of limits her, and being a sustained base build against a Poison Shiv kind of shuts it down almost 50% of the value of that build path. So yeah, I just, maybe some different builds here for C9, in my opinion, would have been better.
Well, that will be the Kraken being started up by Hollywood Hammers now. This is the issue for Cloud9. They are just recalling here. This is actually going to be a free Kraken. I don't think that this is going on at all. They're not going to get there either. They haven't got any ranged abilities that far stretched. No one shot, one kill for them, and that will be the Kraken completely going for free over to Hammers and Cloud9. You know, not getting the vision down, just kind of punish them there.
They know, though. They knew that it was going down. They just don't feel comfortable to be able to face check. The problem is because they have been on the back foot this entire game, they have been unable to extend their vision past their own Crystal Sentry side of the jungle. So the problem for C9 is that they can't face check, because if they face check this composition, they just die. So they have to be defensive. They have to let this Kraken go for free, because if they went and face checked it, they'd probably lose not only the Kraken, but they probably lose the game there. So it was a calculated defensive call, knowing that it was very difficult for them to actually go in and face check that Kraken.
Okay, Vizzle with the late Dragon Blood contract is going to pop down the Sigil to heal everybody up of Cloud9, but it isn't going to stop the fight. Playable Afra gets one Holy Nova, and that'll be Old School getting jumped on now, but Yummy Cannon Frenzy is going to get completely bogged. Old School made it back to base, but just got torn apart regardless. And now Joseph with that red mist trying to keep in this fight. There's just too many heals coming out of Playboy Afra at this current time. That Kraken is still melting their turrets. He's doing absolutely nothing. This Rona pick, although working out in the early game, is not thus far for them. With 17 minutes in, that Kraken might just take this game to a game number 3 here. Excalibur, I think this is all over. Playboy Afro Arcade, they are going to be able to chew through these turrets, and there's no way the damage is going to be able to stop this Kraken. It's going to go down. Cloud9 are taken to a game number 3.
I mean, that was a snowball that Hammers managed to exploit by pure map control as well. The fact that C9 could not face check them, they couldn't extend out of their own side jungle, and every single fight was so calculated and decisive from Hollywood Hammers. They built really well. The Echo early on the Grace with the Shatterglass build meant that their front lane was able to sustain so easily. And some of the builds from C9 I felt were a little bit questionable. We'll see what our analysts have to say, Joz.
Yes, we will. Rona not working out so hotly. We'll see what they want to do in the next draft phase as well.